Aha, some swell. Pretzels, pretzels, pretzels. Here, over here.
Coming right up. Anybody else?
Show me one, buddy.
Oh, here you are. Pretzels. Huh?
Say, boy, show me some pretzels.
Of course, yeah. Oh, you want all of them? Oh, all right, teeny old boy there, yeah.
Pretzels. 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 Pretzels here.
Hello, everybody. Here we go.
Ride your nice horse?
Uh-huh. I'll help you.
Thank you. Whoa!
What up, cyberspace cadets, cyber fam, and fambots everywhere? It's IRATE Prostate. It's Sunday, and you know what that means. It's time for some ice cream. That's right. And most people, consider ice cream to be a treat, I would say. And that's why I named this show ice cream is because a treat to me is talking to people. I love to talk to people. I always have, ever since I was a little kid, running around the neighborhood, just, talking up a storm. My mama said one time, she said, it took us 1.5 years to teach you to stand and walk around and talk around, and now it's going to teach you the rest of your life to sit down and shut up. So I kind of botched the joke, but hey, what can I say? But anyway, relax, everybody. It's okay. Maybe I'm sensing the background noise might be just a little too much. Sorry about that. And so, like I was saying, I find fascinating people fascinating, and today's guest is no different. I've met her. I've really only streamed with her a couple of times, and we'll get into that a little bit. But she's today's guest is also known as the better half of what's known as Johnny Bonsacco. And I have been associating with he and his ilk for quite some time now. And I believe I am baptized. I don't know. What would you call it? Yeah. Well, everybody, this is Kessa. Yeah, I want to introduce everybody to Kessa. And before we get going, Miss Kessa, let's say hey to some people. We got people in here. I'm going to say hey to Becca Fairley, Gulf City, Johnny Blaze, Mr. Moo, Nightbot is here. Okay. Undead Ramen, howdy. I thought I gave you a ranch. I did. Okay. All right, just making sure. And all right, well, Nightbot's firing out some new links, so that's cool. Good to see. All right, everybody. Now we're getting to go. I've got Kessa. I've got some questions here, and what we'll do is we'll move here. We'll move into this wrong one. Here we go. Are they? All right, talk some more.
My end to fix that.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, maybe you were muted. Oops.
Don't show muted on my end.
Thank you. No, I got you. No, I had you muted. It was yes. It's not a true ice cream unless IRATE boom or something. Damn it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this here is Miss Kessa, the better half of Johnny, of the one known as Johnny Bonsacco. She's awesome. I've met her a couple of times. We've hung out and streamed together a couple of times, and I really want to, and hang out with her because it's like she fascinates me because she's married to Johnny, and God bless her for that. I just want everybody to know that. I believe there's a special place in heaven for people that love Johnny Bonsacco.
Right.
Just
takes a lot of patience.
I bet it does. And so with that in mind, what we'll do is I've got some questions, like I said. Is everybody are we up to speed now and everybody can hear everybody? Okay, yay, Becca says good. Okay, good. All right, we're good to go. All right, so the questions, I've got my little question generators up too. We start out talking about YouTube, and then we'll get into you and your life and stuff, and we'll touch on other things, and then by the time the show's over, we'll be at the end, and we'll be back talking about YouTube stuff. So,
okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right. Let's see. All right. So the first question is always, how long have you been around YouTube, and what was the main reason you started watching YouTube?
I think I started actually watching YouTube maybe a year ago. Maybe it's been 2 years. So what started was actually watching Quiplash with Jack Gunski.
Okay.
It was something that my husband and my son did, and they're like, this is a great game, you got to join us. And so I started doing that with them and Tuesday nights, and that was like our Tuesday night date night. We like didn't do anything else. We did Quiplash.
Right.
And then Moo and Bonsako were like, we want to stream. And so they started streaming with Becca, and I watched that because I kind of felt obligated to. And pretty much that's the only YouTube I've ever watched.
Gotcha. And so when you stream, why do you usually like hop into streams?
The only time I think I've ever hopped into a stream is the drunk stream that Bonsako does, because it's just like really it started out like he didn't know who else to have on his stream, and I was like, well, I'll do it with you, and then that way we could just get drunk and shoot the shit and have fun together. And so that's kind of where I started streaming. And then Jack Gunsky had me on Quiplash a couple times. But other than that, yeah, that's the only streaming I do. And it's just so that way I give support to my husband and my son.
That's right. Behind every successful YouTubing dude should be an awesome woman like you. Just saying.
Thank you.
I think it's true in my case, and I believe Johnny he hit the gold vein when he discovered you.
Well, thank you. That's so sweet.
We're going to get to that too later. All right. So everybody queue up. Like I said, all right. So towards the end of the show, I will ask you guys for questions. I see that my my first poll I've ever done is being successful. Be sure and click it. All right. And I'm not going to end it yet. I'm going to let it run until we get to this point. And here we go. All right. So what? All right. So when you do watch YouTube, what do you personally like?
I'm totally like a homebody. I'd rather like read or watch TV or just or play video games. Basically, that's what I do.
Cool. Okay. So all right, this is where we're getting the personal. This is one of my favorite questions. Is there a food from your childhood that you could not stand it, you didn't like it, and now as an adult you actually enjoy eating it?
No, there are many vegetables themselves, but foods also. I did not like eating as a child. And like still to this day, I won't eat.
What's the number one no?
Green beans.
Beans. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, green beans are just like not my favorite. You know what? Now that I think on it, I do take that back. IRATE. Tuna fish. My mom made me eat tuna fish casserole because it was cheap, and of course, being poor growing up, we ate the cheap foods. And got tired of tuna fish casserole, but I actually like tuna fish sandwiches now.
Oh, okay. There you go. Fantastic. Let's see. Using one word growing up, how would you describe your family?
Oh, close-knit, like a loving family.
Okay.
We all, well, for the most part, got along, always there for each other, always did stuff together. We're, just like a close-knit family.
All right, so who would you say is the most influential person from your childhood? And what kind of a kid were you?
Probably most influential was my mom. Like, loved hanging out with her and doing stuff with her, and just like wanted to be like her when I grew up. Because she was a stay-at-home mom, and she always was doing stuff with us, like doing the arts and crafts or taking us to the pool, or she was just always there. She was always doing fun stuff for us, and she was just a great mom. And then your second question, as a child, I was very shy. I didn't talk basically to anybody. Like I said, I'm a homebody. I didn't really go out and do stuff. My mom put me into dance and she put me into Girl Scouts, so that way I would socialize with other people.
Yeah.
I still didn't even talk to the people when I was there because like I was so shy, so afraid of talking to people. So so I was the quiet wallflower kind of kid.
Right. Let's see. So is there a favorite holiday or time of year that holds special meaning for you?
Christmas is by far definitely my favorite. My mom would always go all out on Christmas Eve. She would make this like huge fancy dinner. We'd have ham and all the fixins. We'd get dressed up. We'd eat in the dining room, which was the fancy table, and we would just have like a great Christmas Eve. Got to open one present, and then Christmas Day we spent with the immediate family, opened up our presents, but then we got together with the extended family, all my mom's brothers and cousins and grandma and grandpa and everything. And so it was just really fun because you got the presents, of course, but then you got to spend time with all the family. So it was great.
Cool. A lot of people, you know. All right, so here's a question for you, talking about Christmas type stuff. White lights or colored lights? A.
Colored.
All right. Do they blink or are they steady?
We actually did both.
Okay.
I like the blinky lights better, and to this day I still do it. On the inside of the tree, you put the steady lights, and then on the outside of the tree, you put the blinky lights. So that way you have both.
I like that. I like that formula. Everybody write that shit down. That sounds like a righteous. Yeah, it's going to be pretty festive, I hope, this year, and where Uzi and I are moving to. So I'm excited about that myself. All right, so if you could go back in time and talk to little Kessa at the age of 8, what would you say to her? What would you say to yourself?
That's a very good question. I would really say to like try and be more outgoing, like experience more of life. But to this day, I'm still not like that. So I don't know if that would help little 8-year-old Kessa or not. Yeah, I don't have a good answer for that, Irate. I'm sorry.
No, that's a great answer. No, that's kind of the point. You know, it's like what your answer. Every show's like different, like, you know, and that's what I love about this show, is that every person's different. They answer the questions differently. They have different experiences, and that's the kind of the point of what I'm doing here is try to document this, because you know your truth. Only you can tell your story. I'll put it that way. I'm not going to use any bullshit SJW woke jargon or anything. Okay, I'll spare you my moral fagging. Right. So what was elementary and in middle school like? How was that?
It was, for the most part, I had my next door neighbors were identical twins, and I grew up with them since I was like 2 years old. And my mom, being a stay-at-home mom, she would babysit them. So I basically grew up with them. They would stay at my house after school. We spent all our time together. So through elementary school, spent tons of time together, and so I had friends and was able to get through elementary school okay. Once we got to middle school, they started to get other friends too, so they didn't hang out with me as much. A lot more bullies in middle school. Because I was so shy, I like didn't stand up for myself or anything. So middle school got a little bit harder, but I was always into I had to do best in all of my classes, had straight A's, and focused on my studying and everything. So made it through pretty well.
So you're a straight A student?
Yes, I was.
Excellent. So did you do anything crazy as a kid?
No. The only real crazy thing that happened, it was in 4th grade, and I was in Girl Scouts, and it was like after Girl Scouts was over, we're waiting for our parents to pick us up. So we had it at our elementary school. So we were out on the basketball court, and we were playing basketball, and one of our troop leaders had a foster son. So her foster son was there. And got a little rough. He pushed a girl. The girl pushed me. I fell on my arm, and I fell, and I put my hand down to break my fall, and it snapped both of the bones in the forearm in half. Yeah, I was like this U shape.
It
was really...
So it didn't break the skin though?
No, fortunately the skin was fine, but yeah, the bones were totally snapped in half, and totally panicked, freaked out, couldn't stop crying. So I had a cast on for like 8 weeks, and so that happened. But otherwise, no, nothing really interesting happened. Pretty boring girl.
Well, Uzi and I have found that boring means there's no drama. You know what I'm saying? It can be a good thing, right?
Yeah.
It can be a good thing. No chaos.
Exactly.
Let's see. So what? So the way I phrased this is describe the first time you played doctor.
Oh.
If you know what I mean, in a romantic sense.
Yeah.
Or metaphorically, Depends.
Did get a boyfriend in 9th grade, and me being the good Christian girl, and was gonna wait until I married to lose my virginity and all that. So, but I really liked this boy. We had been together for, I don't know, it was at least 9 months, and then we finally doctor. So I was 14. So it took me a little while.
I hear some laughing in the background.
Oh, I'm sorry. Johnny Aaron is in the room with me. He is watching YouTube. So whatever YouTube show he's watching, it's making him laugh. He told me he was going to be quiet, so
it's
sorry.
fine. No, it's fine. I love the sound of kid laughter. It's awesome.
Right.
Right?
He's adorable.
Let's see. All right, so where am I in my questions? I was looking around. All right, what about the first time you got shit-faced? What was that like?
Oh, crap. Wanting to say it was New Year's Eve, and it was after I met Bonsako. So I was with Bonsako, and we went to his friend's house down in Huntington Beach, and they had champagne. And I'd never had champagne before, but it was toasting for New Year's and whatever. And so I had a couple of those, and I got pretty tipsy, and ended up in the bathroom puking. And so I made it all the way till I was 21 before that happened.
I like the way you threw that in there, so your kids kind of hey, Mom, I'm you. Right? I got you. So how would you say you've changed in the past 5 years?
Oh, not for the better. I've always struggled with anxiety and depression. And I've been working with doctors, trying to even out my medications to try and keep me normal. And this one medication I was on just made me so nauseous all the time. I was always sick. And so I was eating to try and combat the nauseousness, and then so I gained a ton of weight. It was horrible. Couldn't go to work. because I was so sick all the time. And so eventually I ended up having to quit my job because I was never able to go to work. And so basically I've just been a wreck since then. So yeah, not that great.
All right, so we'll kind of backtrack and go back. What did you want to be when you grew up as a kid?
It did change a few times. When I was younger, like especially in elementary school, I really wanted to be an elementary school teacher. Like I love my teachers, and I was like, this is totally what I want to do when I grow up. And then when I got to middle school, we started doing biology and everything. I totally fell in love with dolphins. So it's like, I want to work at SeaWorld or something like that where I can work with dolphins all the time.
Wow.
And so then I was going to be like a marine biologist, so I could do that. And then I got to high school. We had to start dissecting, started with the frogs. And oh my gosh, I was so squeamish. I couldn't be in the room when we did the dissecting frogs. So I'm like, okay, biology is not the class for me. So I ended up not becoming a marine biologist. And then when I got to college, I was still like, okay, let's do the elementary education thing. But you can't major in education. You have to like major in something else. And then like education is like your specialty sort of a thing. So I had to pick something that I wanted to major in, and I was like, I don't like anything, so what am I gonna do? So I was debating between history, because I really do like history, but like remembering names and dates and places, like that was really hard for me. But I really liked math also, so I tried the math route, and I was doing all the elementary education classes. And things were going well for that, except for when I went for summer vacation, needed a summer job, went back to my hometown, and I worked at my old elementary school with their summer program. So I was around kids 8 hours a day. And I just found out that I don't like other people's kids. It was horrible to be around kids all day long.
Right?
Like, there's some of the brattiest kids out there. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to run, but I can't. But then, yeah, I decided elementary education wasn't for me. And I was kind of having a rough patch at college anyway. So ended up dropping out of college. And long story longer, met Bonsaco. I was like, okay, I need a change of pace. Moved to California, started school there, got involved with criminal justice. I was like, yeah, this is really cool. I could like be an attorney. And so I took classes for that. And then I realized I'm too terrified to speak in front of people. So how am I going to get up in a courtroom and argue in front of a judge? So I'm like, okay, so that's not the route for me. So I still really liked criminal justice though. So I applied to work at the courthouse and got a job there and been working there ever since, and I've been loving it.
Sweet. So what do you love about your hometown?
Well, back when I was younger and it was smaller, not as grown up as it was. So I was actually born in Denver. Grew up in a suburb of Aurora in Colorado. It was just a nice suburb. We had the swimming pools, the rec centers, all that. It was a nice town, so you didn't have the high crime and everything. It had the great mall, had the great movie theaters. We had a grocery store right across the street. You could walk to 7-Eleven, go get candy. Like, just everything about it. It's just like a charmed life, basically.
Yeah.
But after I went away to college, came back, they had done so much building and it had grown up so much. It's like, this is not the town I grew up in. Like, it wasn't the same. So, I don't know. It's not really that great anymore.
So, all right. So, what's the first album you bought? What's the first recorded music you remember listening to? I
was in 6th grade, and the total church-going girl, and friends from my youth group in church, they were all into like the Christian bands, and there was this group called Acapella, and they sang Acapella,
Right.
and I thought it was like the greatest thing. Like, they could totally sing without using instruments, and they sounded so great. So I was like, I have to have this. So that's technically the first album I bought.
Yeah, and
But then this,
go ahead, please.
oh, I would say, but then the second one was Alanis Morissette. So kind of the opposite direction there.
Right. I'm typing something for the chat. Yes, Christian rock is a gateway drug to the evil shit. Just saying. No, that Christian rock. A lot of people. It's a huge a number of people that I've interviewed have answered with that. So all right. So, all right, what's your favorite band now?
There aren't really any good bands anymore. I definitely would say, like, in my top 5 is Billy Idol and Toby Keith. Those are like 2 of my favorites. I like 21 Pilots. I like Pink Floyd. I like I guess more of the alternative, not heavy rock sort of stuff.
Right on. Right. So what? What's your go-to? What's if I was to look in your like MP3 player or whatever you use? What would we find in there? Loaded up.
It is so random. Like, I'll hear a song on the radio and I'm like, oh, I really like that, and then I'll download it. And so I have like one song from like 300 artists because I only like one song of theirs. Like, I was talking with my husband and my son. They'll buy the whole album or like download the whole album or whatever, and they'll listen to every song in the album. And I'm like, how do you do that? Because I'll listen to the album and I'll like 1, maybe 2 songs. I'm not going to buy the whole album to listen to 2 songs. So I don't really have people that like I have the whole album of. I just have a couple songs. But I do have the album for Garbage, and I do have the album for Toby Keith, and I do have the album for Billy Idol. So that would probably be who you'd find.
What's your favorite Billy Idol song? I like Billy Idol too.
Well, Rebel Yell is a go-to, but that's like a really
Absolutely.
popular one.
It's a great song, man.
No, it really is, and it's really fun.
It's really well written.
Dancing with Myself is really fun to dance to.
Yeah.
Great video.
Yeah.
He's got this one called John Wayne. It's kind of obscure. I don't know how many people would know that one. It's kind of hard to find, but like, it's really pretty. So, just got a lot of good ones.
Do you have a guilty pleasure musically?
This isn't really going to count for anybody else as a guilty pleasure, but for me, it would be Eminem. Because, like, I hate rap, but I don't know, he does a good job at it. And he has, like, a really foul mouth, which, like, kind of bothers me, but I just really enjoy it. So, yeah, he would be my guilty pleasure.
Indeed. Foul mouth. I'm surprised that that's a thing. You know, in that household. I'm kidding.
Right.
I'm talking about the company that JBS keeps. That's Johnny Monsaka, JBS. Just like everybody.
Thank you for explaining that.
All right. So now we're at high school. What was that like?
It was manageable. Because I did actually find a boyfriend, which I was really surprised because as like quiet as shy as I was, I didn't really have good self-esteem or anything. So I was like, nobody's ever liked me anyhow. But he was on the football team. He was on the track team. Total track star. He was really good at football. So he hung out with like the in crowd. And like all the varsity football players loved him, and when he was a freshman and stuff like that. So I think because of that, nobody bothered me. So I still didn't like have a ton of friends, but I wasn't being bullied and picked on. So I was able to just kind of scoot my way through school and just focus on my classes and not have to worry about all the drama. I was on the swim team, and I was in choir, so I did extracurricular activities.
What swimming did you do?
I was really good at front stroke, just like the basic.
Yeah.
I was almost pretty much the same at the backstroke. I could do that one really well.
Oh, wow.
I did the breaststroke okay. I never came in first, but like I placed, so yay. But the butterfly, which is the one where you gotta have really good, strong shoulders to be able to pull yourself up out of the water and not drown yourself. I could not do that one to save my life. I was always drowning myself because I just did not have the shoulders for it. So I was like, don't put me in that one. Don't put me in the relays or the medleys.
That's definitely a violent way to swim, right?
Yeah. And the guys who can do it, I am highly impressed. I'm like, that is amazing.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah.
All right. So after high school, all right. So the first question is, do you plan on going to any reunions?
No, I haven't gone to any. Never planned on going to any because they said I was the wallflower. Didn't have any friends. Like, there's nobody I would want to go back and see. And then even if I did, I'm like, I don't think anybody's going to even remember or know who I was. So there's no point. So yeah, never made any plans to go see any of them. I have friends with a few of them on Facebook though, which they sought me out. I didn't seek them out. I was kind of surprised. So I was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's kind of like I've noticed a lot with a lot of younger people is that's kind of replacing the reunions because there's people are still in touch with each other, right? You don't have to wait the 10 years to get together and catch up. Right, you were just looking at their grandkids' pictures 5 minutes ago, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, all right. What about after high school? How did you graduate with honors or anything? Yes, was in the National Honor Society. Graduated with honors. I knew it. Not valedictorian. I wasn't that smart, but I was up there. Again, straight A student. So, high school went well. I didn't apply to like any big colleges. I wanted to stay close to home. University of Colorado was liberal. I didn't want to do that, and it was expensive. But the University of Northern Colorado was a state school, so it was cheaper. It was only about an hour drive away from home, so I wasn't too far. And I was determined. Because I'd lived such a sheltered life, going to church and being the good girl. I was ready to be out of the house. I'm like, I didn't want to live with mom, go to community college. I wanted to be free. So I was like, if it's gonna cost extra money, I'm gonna go live on campus and go experience college life. So I did that for 3 years, and it was good because I did get out and experience more stuff, but let's say this is all going to be dreary, is when my depression came into play, and I gotten so depressed in my junior year, I wasn't able to finish school. So, but that is actually when I met Bonsaco, and I was like, you know what, ready for a change of pace. Maybe if I get out of Colorado. Oh, I had broken up with my boyfriend too. Yeah.
So it's like,
Well, let's kind of segue into this. All right. So talk
Right.
about your relationship history and then how you met Bonsako, and talk about y'all's romance, because I think everybody would love to hear that your side of this.
it is different than Bonsako's. So my boyfriend in high school, we dated all 4 years. We dated after college. It was like the high school romance, and we were going to marry and live happily ever after. But he wasn't able to get the college loans to go to college. So he stayed back in our hometown while I was an hour away at college. And so we tried to make the long distance thing work, and it ended up not working out. And like, I wanted to go out and experience life, and he did too, but it was hard for us to do that together because he was so far away. So anyhow, it ended up not working out. And sorry, I just lost my train of thought. And so I was like, okay, so I've been dating this guy for like 7 years. I'm just going to take a break from guys and just be myself, do my thing, hang out with the girls, and I don't need no man. And so that was all great. But in my sophomore year of college, I met a girl, she was my roommate in college. She played this game called Ultima Online. And she played that with her mom, and I would watch her playing, and I'm like, that looks so interesting. And so I eventually got an account, and so we would sit up and we would play this online computer game till all hours of the night. And I was still doing good in school my sophomore year, though. But then junior year, it's like it kind of took over, and all I wanted to do was play Ultima Online and hang out with the people there, because I was having fun. And that is actually how I met Bonsako. So my roommate's mom was friends with this man from Canada, and Bonsako met this man from Canada, and so then he started hanging out with us with our group, and so that's how I met Bonsako. And he was just funny. Like, everything he said, I was like, oh my gosh, you crack me up. And so I don't know if you remember ICQ. It was like the messenger thing back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
a blast
like
from the past.
So I asked for his ICQ number so that way I could talk to him. And so then we talked to each other, and yeah, and he just was always making me laugh, and we had good conversations, and it was like good times. And so then after a while, I was like, hey, let's talk on the phone. And so then we talked on the phone, and we would have like 12-hour conversations on the phone. Like, it was just, we had a really good time talking to each other. And so then after that, I don't know, it's been several months, because I'm one of those people that's like, okay, once I made my decision, like, I just jump all in, and like, I don't really sit and like hash it out for forever, because my anxiety. Anyhow, so spring break, I'm like, okay, roommate, let's go fly out to California and meet this guy, because like, gotta meet him. Anyhow, because I liked him so much. So roommate ended up not coming with me to California, so it's just me going out to California to meet this strange man, and like, this is all sorts of bad. But I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. So I did it, and yeah, it ended up working out. We had a really good time together, and that's where it went from there.
Right? Did y'all move in together first, or did y'all decide to get married? How did that happen?
Oh, okay. So we did move in together first. It was probably 6 months, maybe 9 months or so of before I actually moved out to California. I flew to see him a couple times. So we had hung out in real life a few times, but then, like I said, I was like, I'm ready for a change of pace. I'm just going to move out to California. If it doesn't work out with him, I can always get my own place. I can go to school out there. I can do my own thing. So it wasn't like I was just going to be with him, but that was like the main reason I was going. So yeah, so we ended up moving in together because financially I didn't have a lot of money. So that's what I did. I moved out, or moved in with him, got a job, went going to school, job at the same time, and because we lived together, got to spend time together, we would play Ultima Online together still, and we met a lot of people in Ultima Online that we would go and meet in real life. So that is how we started going to the Ren fairs, was because people we knew that played UO worked at the Ren fairs. So they would get us free tickets.
Okay. All right. So, so when you, all right. So what made you decide to get married?
Was kind of like an obligation sort of a thing. We'd been together for, I want to say, yeah, it was about 4 years, three to 4 years we'd been together. But because my parents are Christian, and it's like, you can't live together, you're living together in sin. It's like, and they wanted to make sure I was taken care of. And anyhow, I think my husband felt obligated that he needed to propose, so that way we weren't living together in sin, so that way my parents would not be as upset with me. So I think that's kind of why we actually got married. Otherwise we'd probably still just be living together 20 years later with 2 kids. I mean, it's just a piece of paper, right? But yeah, and then also I think he wanted me to have a wedding, because, you know, it's like every little girl's dream to have her princess wedding, and
That's right.
I totally got to have my princess wedding dress and my crown and everything. It was a total princess wedding. So I think he did that for me just because he knew that I wanted it.
That's so sweet, kind of. So
Yeah. He really is a good guy. Don't tell anybody. But he is.
I feel weird complimenting him. Just saying. But you know, it's like this is a common theme with people that are married, that women love a man that can make them laugh.
Yes.
You know.
Yes, having a good sense of humor is a total bonus.
Well, and you know, look, being handsome and pretty and all that shit, it only lasts like about 20, 35 years, and then and then everybody's like looks the same, you know, and what you got left after that, you know? Yeah.
Got to find somebody that you enjoy spending time with.
Here. I totally agree with that. Let's see. All right, so there were some questions. Let me see. All right, so ask Kessa about the Renaissance Fair, and your outfit for the Renaissance Fair, and why all the lads follow you at the Renaissance Fair. That's from Object of Hate.
Oh, not Bonsacco? That's surprising. Yeah, so when I moved out of my parents' house, I was going through my rebellious phase. And then we were going to the Ren fairs because we had friends that worked there. We could get the free tickets. And because I was playing the Ultima Online, one of my favorite parts of it was dressing my characters up in these cute little outfits. It was like playing with dolls for me. Mm-hmm. And so when we got to the Ren fair, they, you know how like everybody dresses up, and like there's all those girls that have like those corsets and it pushes their boobs up and their boobs are like hanging out of their tops and stuff like that. Well, I have tiny titties, so I couldn't get that to work. But they had shops there where you could buy what's considered lingerie in the Renaissance Fair world. And they had some really cute tops. And one top, it was like a velveteen, kind of like a, I don't even know how to explain it. Bonsacco, you're going to have to help me with this. So it goes it goes across your top, but it like ties in the middle. So so it covers your boob, and there's like the ties in the middle, and then it had like these really drapey arms. But so like your total belly is exposed. It's just kind of like a bra sort of a thing. And then they also had this skirt thing. It was made out of like a knit material, and there was 2 layers. So you couldn't really see through it exactly, but you could pretty much see through it. And so, being rebellious, wanting to be a little risque, and I totally had the body for it at the time. So I wore that to the Ren Fair with no panties and no bra on. So like it was just this top and this skirt. And so I guess you could see through the skirt more than I thought you actually could. And so boys liked that. And so there's totally like boys follow me around like with their tongues hanging out of their mouths. Like they wanted to stop and get pictures and stuff like that. I was like, oh wow. So I was enjoying all the attention. It was great. But my 6'5" boyfriend did not leave my side. He was like, I'm going to be here to make sure, 1, everybody knows you're taken, and 2, to fend them off if they start to like grab you or maul you or whatever. So, I mean, he was really good. He's like, you can totally go out in that outfit if that's what you want to do. He was like, didn't stop me from wearing whatever I wanted to wear. But he's like, I'm going to be there just in case you need me. So that's what happened at the Ren Fair.
Yeah, dudes like to show off their gorgeous wives. Just saying.
Arm candy.
That's right. Exactly. Uzi was very uncomfortable with that idea. So, but, you know, to each his own, right?
Yeah.
All right. This is where we kind of get into aesthetics. Let me ask you a generated question. What dish do you love to cook or bake?
Wait, what was the question?
What's your favorite dish to cook or bake?
Oh, I don't cook and I don't bake, so I don't have a favorite. It like literally gives me anxiety to cook.
Oh, wow.
Because like I'm like, okay, you have to have so much of this, you have so much of this, and you have to add this at this time and this at this time. And like, especially if you're making like more than one dish, like you're making a dinner, and you have like your casserole, and you have your side, and you have your bread, and like you got to time it all to be done at the same time. Oh my gosh, like it's just too much pressure. And so I don't really cook or bake. I think
it's awesome.
Yeah, and and then like cakes. You'd think like a cake would be easy to make. So I make a cake, and like it turns out pretty good. And then you got to put the frosting on, and it tears the whole entire top off.
Right.
So it's like I can't get the frosting onto the cake. And so like every attempt I've ever made at cooking or baking has failed miserably. So it's like, why do I do this to myself? I hate it. It's not fun. And it's just going to turn out like crap. So I just don't do it.
All right, what's your favorite board game?
Oh, it's a good question because there are a couple that I like. Probably Sorry.
Okay, cool. What's the worst date you've ever been on?
Okay, so in my phase of I don't need a man, I wasn't really dating anyone, but there was this one guy on ICQ that messaged me. He was like, "Hey, I remember you from high school." I was like, "Wait, I don't remember who you are." He's like, "Well, I went to this high school." And so it was like the rival high school. He's like, "But I would see you at football games all the time, and you always acted like you were better than me." And I was like, okay, I wasn't actually being a snob. I was just really shy and afraid to talk to everybody. So I'm sorry I came off like a snob, but that's not really what it was. And so then I felt all bad. I'm like, okay, well, I didn't mean to come off like a snob, so I'm sorry about that. So do you want to meet at the mall? We can get lunch or something. And so it's like, okay. So we met in like this totally neutral place where there's tons of people. And it was like, to me at least, it was just to have lunch. So I'm sorry for acting like a snob. And he like totally took it as a date. He was like totally putting his arm around me. He wanted to take me into the shop where his friends worked with his arm around me so he could show me off, like, look at this chick that I got. And like, yeah, I was like, okay, this is not working out. This is not supposed to be a date. I'm not dating you. So yeah, so we're done. But yeah, that made me really uncomfortable.
I bet. All right, so now we get into aesthetics and tastes and stuff. Before we get there, all right. So, what kind of dance did you learn as a kid? What did you excel at?
I never excelled at dancing.
What was your favorite though? I'll ask you that way.
Let's see. The first one I learned was the Achy Breaky Heart, and I liked doing the line dancing. Like that was pretty fun. And then when I was in high school is when the Macarena came out. And so we would do that at our pep rallies. Like the YMCA, I think that's just like a standard thing. We do that at the bowling alley and stuff like that. So those are like the only really kind of dances that I know. But otherwise I'm just kind of like wiggle your hips and wave your arms in the air, just kind of groove to the music. But actual like dancing oh no, actually I have a story about that. I took a class in college at the Northern Colorado. There was literally a dance class, like ballroom dancing, and so you learned like the waltz, and you learned, I can't remember the name of all the other dances, and I learned how to swing. And that is like one of the most fun dances I've ever done.
Oh yeah.
Nobody else really knows how to do it. There's not really a time and a place for it. So I really haven't gotten to do it since. But
yeah, there was that whole like thing in the 90s, man, with the swing bands and dancing, Cherry Poppin' Daddies and
the big bands like that.
Brian Setzer, orchestra.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, great stuff.
Do you like both of them? Yes.
Oh yeah, outstanding stuff. All right, so what is your favorite horror film? Who's your favorite horror director?
That's a no-go. I do not watch horror. I refuse adamantly. I will not do it. So I don't have a favorite because there's no such thing as a good horror movie. Yeah, so I don't have an answer for that one.
Oh, do you like science fiction?
Oh, I don't know, like, what is it, the good kind, like the artsy fartsy, like Star Wars and Star Trek. Yes, I do like those. But if you get more sci-fi than that, no.
I hear you. Let's see. What is your favorite science fiction movie? Would you say, out of all that you just described?
I'm trying to think if there's any other ones besides Star Trek and Star Wars, and none are coming to mind, so that's going to drive me crazy. I never actually did like any of the Star Trek movies. I liked watching The Next Generation and like Voyager, so I like this series.
Yeah, I do too.
But of the movies, it would either have to be Star Wars number 5 or number 6. They're kind of tied. But definitely like
the
the Luke Skywalker, Vader ones.
Yeah, the Empire Strikes Back is just a work of art. I totally agree with that. All right, so what's your favorite dramatic movie? Oh,
it kind of changes over the years. Mm-hmm. Like it used to be Braveheart. Like I love that movie so much, but I think I like worn myself out of that one. Like I really used to love The Princess Bride and not so much. Well, I shouldn't say I don't love it, but it's not like one I can sit down. I'm like, oh, I used to love that movie, but I don't want to watch it again. I really love Forrest Gump. That one's a really good one. Shawshank Redemption. That's what I'm thinking of when
Yeah.
you say drama.
Tom Hanks.
Did those count?
Yeah, you and Uzi have a lot of shit in common. It's crazy. You know, it's like but Johnny Bond, I think you and I lucked out. I'm just saying. And definitely opposites attract. You know what I'm saying about that? That's true. That's very true, I think. I totally agree with that. All right, so let's get. All right, what about your favorite TV series? That gives you a lot more.
Right now, it is Big Bang Theory.
All right.
It seemed kind of silly when I first started watching it, but then I totally got into it. And
Yeah.
Moo hates it with a passion. Like, he can't stand to be in the same room with me. He's like, I can't believe you watched that stupid stuff. But yeah, it just makes me laugh out loud.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Funny shit. It was great. It's a great series. What about, all right, so anime, what, yes or no?
No. No. I don't mind looking at the girls with the big boobs. I'm a boob girl. But, like, actually hearing them talk, I can't handle. And just, like, even the action and their eyes, I can't handle their eyes. I was like, there's so much stupid. I just, like, I can't handle it. So, nope, no anime for me.
Mr. Mood just said, I hate you, Irate. I don't know why, but I feel you. Pin that up there. All right, anyway. So, all right, so this is where I ask you about scars, tattoos, or piercings.
Let's see. I do have a scar on my knee from when I was running to the bus in kindergarten, and I fell down and I scraped my knee up really bad. So it's not quite as obvious now, but it's a pretty big scar. And so that's like my biggest one. With the piercings, I do have my ears pierced. I did get them double pierced and they closed up. Because my body like only takes like nickel or some sort of metal and then like rejects all the other kinds, so I get infections easily. So I really wanted to get my belly button pierced, but I was really afraid because of the reactions with my ears. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do it. But then Bonsako took me to a piercing place and I got my belly button pierced and still have that to this day. That one has not, it did get infected once, but anyhow, it's gone really well. So that one's been good. And then I've always considered like getting my clit or my nipples pierced, but because of the whole infection issue, I'm like way too afraid. So I have not gotten those pierced. So the only ones I have are my ears and my belly button. And the tattoo. Sorry, I just banged my mic. Good Christian girl, I was never gonna get a tattoo, but I went through my rebellious phase and I was like, you know what? I think I do want to. I just don't know what it is, and it took me a really, really long time to decide, and I did finally get one. And it's a heart shape made out of the treble clef and the bass clef. So, like, to show my love of music.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right. So I'm going through my questions here. All right. And so let me pull up a generated question. What was your most memorable vacation?
I actually had quite a few. My parents were so good at taking us on summer vacations, like every summer. And I've gone to a couple of great places with Bonsako also. But my most favorite one was the 3-week vacation we took where we drove cross country. My parents rented a van and we drove to Florida and we spent a week at Disney World, went to Epcot Center, we went down to JFK and saw the space shuttle launch, went to the beach. My dad's a huge Civil War buff, so we went to a ton of Civil War battlegrounds, graveyards. We ended up in Illinois, went to the cabin where Abraham Lincoln was born, and just got to go to like so many different places. Oh, the big stone wall in Georgia. They do like this great light show on it. Got to see that. Got to see friends that had moved away from the area that lived in the South. It was just, everything about it was great. So, yeah, it was great.
Sweet. Let's see. I had do you have a hidden talent, and what is it?
I don't have a hidden talent. I don't really have any talents, I should say. The fact that I can play musical instrument, like I play the piano and I play the flute, sorry. I can read music, so the fact that I can do that, I'm pretty proud of myself. But other than that, no, I don't have any talent.
So, all right, what's the best gift that Johnny has given you?
First thing that came to mind was my diamond ring.
Nice.
For my wedding ring. I'm gonna have to say my boys. I think my sons are like the greatest gift that he's ever given me.
That's sweet.
Yes.
All right. So, in 40 years, what do you think people will be nostalgic for?
People will be nostalgic for, like, that people will think back to this time period and remember. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Oh, hopefully nothing. We live in a horrible, horrible time right now.
Not wrong.
Great, I can't think of anything. There's not like any new inventions or cool crazes or like anything good. Nothing worth remembering. So I'm gonna go with nothing on that.
Yes. I kind of agree with that. So it's, so what do you think the most useless talent you have is?
Useless talent. Sorry.
Like I could pick up stuff with my toes.
No. I never really thought about that before. Total dead air while I think on the site, right? Maybe Moo or Bonsako has like an answer for that, but I can't think of anything. I have no talent. IRATE.
Okay. All right. I'm sure that there's something that everybody, Johnny and Moo know. So, all right, what we got here? Let's see. If you could know the absolute and total truth of one question, what question would you ask?
The total truth? Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't think I want to know the total truth about anything. Like, that's a scary thought.
It is.
I like living in my jaded little shadow world of know what I want to know, and because if you think about it, if you knew the truth behind a lot of things, you'd be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't live in my happy little rainbow world anymore. So Yeah, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go with nothing on that.
Okay. Let's see. If you could go back in time and spend a week with anyone from history, who would it be and why? It's got to be somebody.
Right. There should be somebody. I really am impressed with Abraham Lincoln. He's like
Sweet. Yeah.
an awesome person. I think I would pick him.
Nice. All right. So what job would you be terrible at?
Anything with manual labor, like a construction worker, or anything that involves physical labor. I'm just not built for it.
Right. Okay. And what would you say is your spirit animal?
I would like to think a tiger.
Nice.
Like really pretty and like can just lay there and be like serene, but like, you know, if you mess with it, you get teeth, you get the claws.
That's right.
Just kick your ass.
That's right. Definitely protect her young and shit.
Yep.
All right, so this is where I do what's called the Lipton questions. James Lipton was an outstanding. He was a professor at New York University, I want to say, and he taught drama. And every week he would do a show called it just left my mind. The actors inside the actor studio, and he would always ask everybody. I mean, everybody from like Martin Scorsese to Meryl Streep. You know, all these famous, heavy duty actors and directors and shit. And he would ask all of them these 10 questions, right? It was one of my favorite parts of the show. So, and he died a couple of years ago, and I decided to do this in homage to him. So, with that predication gone, what is your favorite word?
It's the F word. Okay. I say the word fuck all the time.
Right,
and
go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Please, no.
I was going to say, I know it's bad. I try so hard not to swear around my children. And no, it just comes out. It is like the word I use the most. It just fits everything.
There's a multi-purpose word there. What is your least favorite word?
we were totally talking about it on the show last night. I don't know. There's just something about the word moist. It's just kind of creepy. I don't know if that's like actually it, but that's the first thing that comes to mind.
I like it. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally? What lights your fire?
Wait, repeat the question.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Okay. Really good music, like a good beat that you can like just kind of lose yourself in, and like the world around you disappears. Nice.
I love that too. What's your let's see, what turns you off?
Creatively, spiritually.
Well, it'll knock you right out of that mood.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm finding something to think of, or words to put with it. Just okay. Let's go with really bad music, because there's some like music that like I just cannot handle.
Oh no shit!
And I'm just like, want to like throw my radio through the wall, because I'm like, this is so horrible. How can this, like, how would they let this be produced?
Indeed, that shit music turns me off. What is your favorite curse word? I'm kind of said the F word, but
back to the F word. Yeah, I say that one a lot.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's gonna be that one.
Yeah. What sound or noise do you love?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to think because usually any noise in repetition drives me nuts. I was like, oh my gosh, will you just stop? Because I hate the repetition. But rain. I really like the sound of rain.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Well, I think the given is nails on a chalkboard.
Ooh.
Yeah. I hate the sound of dogs barking.
That's
It's
interesting.
like, yeah, just shut up.
Are you a dog or cat person?
I am neither. I do not like animals. I know that's a horrible thing to say.
Well, all right. So, do you like birds or fish?
Nope. No. Nothing that you have to clean up after.
No
Nothing that makes
critters.
noise, that likes a mess. Anything like that.
That's what babies are for, right?
Exactly.
I like that.
I got my hands full with that.
All right. So, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
This is gonna be really stupid, but because I've always thought about doing it, but I've always been too afraid. I would totally be a stripper. I would like dance and like get on the stripper pole and like to have that kind of like artistic dance style. I think
Stripper.
that's totally stupid. Yeah, I know, right? Who strives to be a stripper?
We have a winner, fam. Just saying. I like that. I like that answer. All right. So, what profession would you not like to do?
Doctor. I could not do
Wow.
anything that involves the insides of people. Like if you have a tiny bit of flesh missing and you can like see down towards like the muscle or anything like that, I'm so squeamish. Like I'll totally pass out. I can't handle insides.
That's it's like I would hate to be like a pediatric surgeon or some shit and have to tell people.
Oh, yeah.
See that kind of shit. All right, and the final question out of the Lipton questions, as I call them. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be cheesy. That he loves me, like, that would just be the all-time great. Like, I did okay in life, and that he loves me.
That's awesome.
Lame.
No, not at all. I think it's awesome. And this is the point, all right, where people like queue up their questions. I saw Becca had something loaded up. She always wants to know your favorite flavor of ice cream.
It is cookies and cream. I love Oreos, and mixing it with ice cream, yummy.
What's your all-time favorite moment from Moo's toddler years? The more embarrassing, the better. These are Becca questions.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so favorite moments from Moo's taller years?
Toddler. Yeah.
Toddler.
When he was a little
Okay.
toddler, yeah.
Okay, I have horrible memory. So, this is going to be he was such a good kid. I'm honestly impressed with how good a kid he was. Like, we literally were not going to have a second kid because it's like, I don't want to have a second kid and ruin and like it be a demon child because this child is so good. Like, he didn't get into the pantries, he didn't like make big messes. He was just a really good kid. I think the worst thing for me, because I hate messes, was I came home from work one day and he's out in the yard, diaper, playing in the mud. He was having the greatest time. Daddy had made the mud puddle for him, so it's not like he's actually getting into trouble. He was covered in dirt and mud, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have to clean this child," and like it was horrible. I don't think there are any embarrassing stories, Becca. I'm sorry.
What about your favorite time of day? She wants to know what's your favorite time of day. Good questions.
Yeah, good questions. Usually it's bedtime, like 9-10 o'clock at night, where like everything is quieting down for the day. The sun's gone down. You don't have all the stresses of like having to get up, get ready for work, rush to work, and got to take care of this, take care of that. It's just kind of a nice, peaceful time of the day.
Nice. What's your ideal family vacation?
I would love to take the family to see, quite honestly, any of the monuments. Like, I got to go to Mount Rushmore. I got to go to Yellowstone, see Old Faithful. I got to go to the Grand Canyon. I got to go to Four Squares. Anything like that I think would be awesome. But quite honestly, just going to a hotel with a pool and staying there for a week, or we can just like sleep in, be lazy, go to the pool whenever we want, would be my ideal vacation.
Nice. All right, so have you ever heard of the YouTuber Barbara for You to See?
I have not.
Okay. So she does not know about her madness. All right, so what do you think of the horror comedies like the Evil Dead movies? Have you seen any of those?
I have not.
Evil Dead 2 is funny as hell, and then the Army of Darkness is great. What is your most fave NR? I don't know what that means. Most fave NR, okay. Any odd collections, Becca always asks.
Odd collections? It would be considered odd. I do collect salt and pepper shakers because my grandma did, and I was like, you know, that's really neat. I would love your collection after you pass on. And then I started collecting my own.
Sweet.
Otherwise, it'd be fairies. I collect fairies. I have so many fairies because they're my favorite.
Ryan Walters, what is your favorite marital aid? You do not have to answer that question.
I don't really have many.
The right answer is Johnny Bonsacco.
Okay. We'll go with that answer then.
Right? I'm not going to get you in trouble, sis. Just saying. Neil wants to know, if you built your dream home, only could choose one option, would you build a gym, a movie theater, or a library?
A movie theater.
Fair enough.
I love watching movies.
Me too. Pineapple pizza, yay or nay?
Pineapple, yes. Took me a while to get into that. I'm like, that is the weirdest thing. But once I tried it and that like sweetness on the pizza, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love pineapples now.
What's your most favorite number is what he wants to know. I got you.
Oh, number is the number 2. I was born on the 2nd, and like that has just been my number ever since.
That's a great question. What's your favorite color? What is the purpose of your quest? And what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
European or African?
See, there you go. You're a Python fan. Thank God. You're awesome.
Yes, I do love Python. Purple is totally my favorite color.
Nice. Mason, I don't know, man. Do you get better performance out of one ball or two?
It actually does not matter how many balls there are. It's the peen that does the work. So, and it works well. So if you ever run into the problem worth like deciding if you ever have to have a testicle removed. Boys, it's okay. You will not be less of a man.
Yeah, didn't he father little one with one present, only one?
Yeah.
See, so you can still make a baby with one testicle, people.
You definitely can.
All right, so what would you do if the Hulk was right in front of you right now?
I would scream and run away.
Is it catabolism if you drink your own blood? What is that? Catabolism? I don't know how to say that, but I don't either. Maybe cannibalism? Maybe? Yes. Blood is I'm going to answer that. Blood is a tissue, and therefore if you consume human tissue, you're a cannibal by definition. So it's a cannibalistic practice, I would say.
Okay, so not that you need to know this, but whenever I get like a little boo-boo, like there's a little blood there, like I'll totally like suck it or like lick it away so that way I get the blood off if I don't have a tissue or something, because I don't want blood all over my clothes or anything.
Yeah, you like
so
the
I guess
taste
I'm
of
a
blood?
cannibal. Oh no. Do not actually like doing it or like the taste or anything.
Kind of salt and rust mixed together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't like being dirty.
Let's see. All right. What would you wish from the Super Shenron from Dragon Ball?
I have never seen Dragon Ball, and I don't know what Shenron is, but I'm assuming it's like a god or something.
What is your favorite pen? Why is Ryan Walters asking that? I don't know. I can't figure that out.
Favorite pen?
P-I-N. Yes, what he says.
P-I-N. What? Like a sewing pen? Like, because I mend clothes. I use sewing pens. I don't like collect pens that... Oh, I do have Letterman pens. We'll go with that.
Okay.
My Letterman pens.
Let's see. If you are a necrophile, which celebrity would you dig up?
Right. Can't think of any good dead ones.
I just ain't right, man.
No, there's definitely... Like, the only person I'm like, sad about that died in my lifetime that I can remember is Stan Lee. And he was, like, better than Moses, so I wouldn't have sex with him. So, nobody.
Mr. Moo asks, if I wasn't your son, how many nasty questions would I be asking right now? And then he answers it and says a lot.
I was going to say it's probably like 5,622. Bonsako, not my pen number. Oh my gosh. Okay, I get the joke now. No.
Oh, I get it. Oh. See, I'm I totally missed that. So.
Oh, me too.
What does that mean about me? All right, let's see. When the body is broken down, catabolism is the opposite of anabolism, which is an anabolic steroids. So there's catabolic steroids that make you like skinny weaklings and shit. Wikipedia, is that what we're saying? Just saying. Anywho, all right, on to, let's see, Jim Morrison or Chris Cornell? I'm going to ask that. I'm going to make you choose.
That's a good question. I mean, which band Jim Morrison was in?
Doors.
We'll go with him.
Killer.
I love the Doors.
Can you fly when you're medicated?
Like literally fly, like jump off the roof?
I don't know,
or
man.
like go in an airplane. Because I have not attempted to fly off the roof while I was medicated. I'm gonna go with that's a big fat no.
Who's your favorite Disney character?
Belle from Beauty and the Beast, because she likes to read.
Cool. Night or day?
Night.
FTW's like, how the hell did you end up with Johnny Monsaco? I told you opposites attract, dude. It's a thing. Right? And it's really weird how you like, I don't know about y'all, but it's really weird how me and Uzi fit together. It's like there's a yang to the yin in just about every in every way possible. It's cool. All right, so we're going to end the question asking part of this now.
Okay.
And get back. We only got a couple questions left, and we're basically at the end of the deal here. So at this point, this is kind of where I ask you about who would you say is a criminally undersubscribed YouTuber on this corner of YouTube's?
IRATE prostate. You put out good material.
Well, I try to have fun, and I appreciate the compliment. But other than me, who else?
I don't watch YouTube, so I don't know. Because, there's some people out there, because I just know people from what Bonsako says, I'm watching so-and-so right now, or whatever. There's, some people that have, thousands or, even 1 million subscribers, and I'm like, wow, how does that happen?
Yeah.
But people that he talks about that don't have very many subscribers, I don't know any that I would be like, oh, they definitely need more, because I don't pay that much attention. That didn't answer your question at all. I don't have an answer.
All right, so what about a YouTuber that's overhyped, and why is it Coppercap?
Because I have to watch that listen to that motherfucker every fucking day, because he is, especially when Bonsako was the moderator. It was he felt obligated that he had to be there. So he's at every show. And all he does is yell and whine. And it's you know what? You're crying about the same stupid stuff every single time. Everything you do is nasty. I don't want to see your face. I don't want to see your spit. I don't want to see you shit all over yourself. And you fucking a toaster, and your whole thing with Belle Delphine, everything about you is just please go into a hole and never come out.
Indeed, this is the reality show we never asked for.
Yes.
All right, so do you have any, let's see, hold on. All right, what will finally break the internet, in your opinion?
Ooh. Besides Coppercap. I feel it's all of these alphabet people that have to put their opinion out there.
Oh my God.
The fact that they have to tell us that we're wrong and they're right, and all these new things that they make up every day, that the fact that you don't get this makes you wrong. I hope that breaks the internet, because I think the internet needs to go away.
Indeed. Okay. All right. So who do you want to shill right now?
Oh, always my husband and my son.
Okay.
They will be on, I have no idea whose channel. They'll be on Bonsako or Moose channel tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific. I always want to show Becca, and unfortunately, I don't know her schedule. That's horrible.
I don't know it. Not stream with her, so I can't remember shit.
It's posted on her channel. Y'all go check her out. And then I do love Jack Gonski on Sundays at p.m. Pacific. His
coming up in about a half hour, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
check it out.
I'm gonna go with that.
Some fun shit. And before, all right, so final word for the chat, and then we'll call it a show, fam.
It's final word for the chat?
Yeah.
Does that mean the chat says something, or I say something?
You say something at the chat.
Oh, thank you all for showing up. That I feel very honored that you asked me on as a guest, because I'm a total nobody. And I feel very honored that all y'all showed up in the chat to hear me ramble about I am.
I'm really glad I asked you to do this because you've been a fantastic guest. And
Thank you.
I really appreciate you. And I appreciate, Johnny and your relationship because, it's like it reminds me a lot of me and Uzi Q. And so I like to illuminate that there are like positive connections that can be made out there, and people can stay married under the most stressful circumstances.
Yeah, where there's a will, there's a way. So
Deluxe 247 donates 10. Thank you so much.
awesome.
And says thank you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that big time. Bless you, fam. And let's see, check one thing. It says, Deluxe sent $10 a super chat. Also, Click Clack Tap It donates 20 and says, wasting another perfectly good hour watching you, Irate. Thank you, sir. I love you too. That's right. And on that note, I have I'm out of stuff to say. I'm out of questions to ask.
Well, I really enjoyed being here, so thank you again, Irate.
Well, thank you, and like I said, it was. I'm so glad I asked you to do this. I always have fun, but it was a unique pleasure getting to know you better, and I appreciate you because I know what you have to put up with.
Thank you so much.
And on that note, I'm out. You say goodbye, and we're out of here.
Bye, guys.